You didn't pick mine. Vic Mignogna sucks.
You know what I mean? And believe me, there's some harsh people out there. They'll do it, dude. They will do it. So, for the longest time, I tried to be very political. Oh, I could never just pick one character. They're all my children, really. I love them all equally. So that's what I said for a long time. Until one thing happened. The day that I finished recording Brotherhood, I stood there for 5-10 minutes in the studio just looking at the last page of the script and looking at the screen with Ed's little face, talking to Winry. And I was like, I literally got choked up and I was like, I love this character so much. I love this show so much. And I've played Ed longer than any other character I've played. So when you add such a great character to so long a time playing that character, I finally was like, I can't resist it anymore. I can't be political anymore. Ed is my favorite role that I've played. However, Tamaki is a very close second. See, the thing about Tamaki is I fell in love with Tamaki before they even cast that show. Literally, before Funimation even had the rights to the show, I was introduced to Oran and I was like, OMG, I love this show. And this blonde guy, he's so great. He's such a little nutball, and he thinks he's so hot, and he tries to be romantic, and then he's a basket case in the corner with his hamster home, and you know, and I fell in love with the character before there was ever a prayer of a chance that I would play him. That's not a good thing. If you're an actor, don't do that, because you kind of jinx yourself, you know, you get your hopes up too much on this one thing. But I went in and auditioned, and as God would have it, I got to play him, and I savored every minute of Oran. See, that was something, going into Full Metal, I'd never seen Full Metal. I didn't really know much about Full Metal. So I fell in love with the show as I went. But with Oran, I already knew how funny it was, and I went into it really cherishing every line. I tease sometimes in panels, and I've said before, Caitlin Glass directed that show, and she said, how do we, and we would do a line, and we'd go, long live the poor, you know, and I would do the line, and Caitlin would go, that was great, first time, right, first take, great, let's move on to the next line, and I'd be like, can I do it again? And she's like, it was fine, Vic, can I just do it one more time? Yes. Long live the poor. You know what I mean? And I changed it a little bit, you know what I mean? Just to get to do it again. Just to savor the moment. To spend as much time in Oran as possible. So that's why, I mean, I really love that show. So if Ed does not, Ed better watch his back. Because Tamaki is very close second place, and would love to take over. Yes, Elle. Oh, thank you. I'm such an idiot. That's something I wanted to tell you about. Thank you for mentioning it. Really? Cool. Do I ever write my own music? Oh, baby, baby. That's a Justin Bieber song, isn't it? Remind me, Kirsten, remind me not to do that. Gotta be good, gotta protect. Oh, baby, baby. I've been writing music twice as long as I've been voice acting. I've written hundreds of songs for television. I've produced 25 records for different artists. I have 6 of my own records, all on iTunes. In fact, look at you pulling one out of her bag. This is one, and by the way, thank you for even mentioning this. I know you didn't mean to do this, but thank you. Guys, a lot of you guys wrote me emails and asked me if I was going to bring my music to the convention. I did. I'll have it at the autograph session. And I would love for you to get some CDs, and I'll be happy to sign them for you. It's great music. I know I'm partial, but am I wrong? Yeah. In fact, there is a new CD. It's not new, but my most recent one is a remix CD of all like club mix, high energy. It's so much fun. It's kind of thing you crank up and just, jam out to. But what's really special about it is that I got permission to record songs from Full Metal Alchemist, Dean Angel, and or on High School Host Club. So there are these songs from these anime series on there, but they're my arrangements, and they're all like high energy club mix stuff. I also have a Christmas CD. A lot of fans wrote me and asked me if I would make a Christmas CD, and I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, you should make a Christmas CD. So I made one. It's all original arrangements of some classic Christmas songs and some original songs that I wrote. And there's even a duet on the CD with Johnny Young Bosch. So if any of you ever wondered what a Christmas song sung by Edward Elric and Bash the Stampede is like, or Ichigo and Tamaki, or choose your characters.
Black Ranger.
There you go. Black Ranger and Zero. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes, I play Death Side. I love Death Side. Oh my gosh. He's a little pervert too. Why do I get to play perverts all the time? I think there's a pattern here. I think the first pervert I ever played was Kurtz Weber from Full Metal Panic. And then it just never stopped. Yes, I played Death Side in the Soul. Yes, love that. Poor little Maka. Yes. That sounds yowie-tastic. And therefore I won't be doing it. Oh, you guys. You and your yowie. You know what? I'm going to take this opportunity to clarify yet again. I think it's dying. I think people are getting tired of talking about it. But I'm going to reiterate. There are people out there, not many, but they're loud. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's the little minority that makes a lot of noise on the internet. And they're under the impression that I hate yaoi fangirls. I'm militant in my hatred for yaoi. And that if you bring me something to sign that's yaoi, I will throw it in your face and spit and kill your dog. Oh my gosh, guys, you would not believe the stories I have heard that people write on the internet. You wouldn't believe it.
Those, my friend, are called trolls. Yes.
Call them what you will. All I know is that they make up these horrific lies. I have never been cruel to any fan for any reason. I'm not a yaoi fan, but if it's your thing, fine. You are welcome to like what you like, just as I am welcome to like what I like.
Yeah.
Right? Live and let live. And I've heard stories. You want to hear some funny stories? I have heard that currently I am suing a hotel. Like this, for instance. I'm suing a hotel. God, they're so stupid. Because I was at a convention, much like this, and someone slid yaoi under my door. And I'm currently suing the hotel. Now, that is idiotic in so many ways, I can't even begin to break it down, right? Number one, no one has ever slid anything under my door, period. In 100 and some conventions, all the hotels, no one has ever slid anything under my door. Anything. Not yaoi, not cards, not nude pictures, not love notes, nothing. Not yaoi, nothing. Number two, if someone did, that's not the hotel's fault. You can't sue the hotel because somebody walked down the hall and slid something on you. It's absurd. But people make these things up, and then you know what happens? Other people read them, and they kind of propagate it. I heard it, blah, 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 blah. No, please don't be a part of that, guys, please. please? I also heard once, I was signing autographs at a convention, and someone came up to me and asked me to sign Yowie. And I had a Sharpie, right? I threw the Sharpie in their face, and I got up and stormed away. Guys, as God is my witness, I've never thrown a Sharpie or anything at anyone, and I've never gotten up and stormed away ever, 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 anytime, ever. It's absurd, these stories that people make up. So do me a favor. Can I ask you guys to do me a favor? You're the good ones, okay? You're the good ones. You're the positive ones. Do me a favor and do what you can to be a positive influence. When you hear junk like that, ask them to show you the proof. Because there isn't any. All of the videos, all of the photos that are taken, there are 25 video cameras running right now. Where's the proof? If this stuff happens all the time, where is it? It doesn't exist because it never happens. So do me a favor. I would appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me if you guys, if and when you ever hear any of those negative kind of things, try to be the voice of, of positive influence and encouragement. You guys, and it would mean a lot to me. And I know that there are other voice actors that deal with that kind of stuff too. I don't think they deal with it quite as much as I do. For some reason, I don't know why, but please, if you would do that for me, I would be most grateful. Okay? Thank you so much. Who has not asked a question yet? Have you asked one yet?
Not yet, Vic.
Bring it, brother.
Well, what I remember, and please don't try and hate me or anything.
Oh, I won't try and hate you. I'll just hate you. I would never hate you. Come on, give me some love.
Could you make me say Kakarot, please?
Can I make you say Kakarot?
Sure.
Sure. Hey, would you say Kakarot for me, please?
Of course.
Bring it.
Kakarot!
Nice! Nice, bro. Very nice. I'm going to fly you to Dallas. And I'll sneak you in the back door, and they'll think I'm in the booth recording, but you'll be in there. Yes?
This is my first anime, and my daughter's
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm learning.
Well, you know what? There's nothing I love more than seeing parents here with their kids. Nothing I love more. Yeah, and you know what? My mom used to take me to Star Trek conventions when I was a little kid. She hated Star Trek. She hated it. You know what she called it? Star Trash. Oh my gosh. And I almost killed her. I was like Holly's age. I'm like 13. I'm like, Mom! How dare you? Your Captain Kirk is so cool. Right? I lived for it. And but she did it. The point is, she showed an interest in things that I had a passion for. And to this day, we are very close friends because when I was growing up, she supported the things that I like. So parents, you're doing a really good thing by being here with your kids, okay?
I'm not sure how you got started to voice acting for a possibly future voice actor.
Oh, yeah. You know what? In fact, I'm sure a lot of people have that question, so let me go ahead and answer it. I got started quite by accident. I mean it. People are like, when did you do, how did you get into voice acting? And I'll say, I really don't know. I've been acting since I was very young. I've been on stage, theater productions, musical theater, church programs, community theater, school productions, anything, everything. And I just loved acting and performing. And about 13 years ago, I was living in Houston, Texas, and I was working on a video production with a friend of mine, and he said, hey, you got a lot of acting experience, don't you? I said, yeah. And he said, you ought to go and audition for this place called ADV Films. They buy these Japanese animated shows and they dub them into English and they need actors. And I was like, really? That sounds fun. Never even occurred to me. I mean, I loved, like, goodness gracious, I loved Speed Racer when I was young. Kim of the White Lion, Battle of Planets, right? I didn't even know it was anime. I just thought it was cool. It was weird, you know? It wasn't like Bugs Bunny, you know? It was different stylistically. It sounded different. It looked different. But I really liked it. I had no idea it was anime. I just knew I liked it. So I went and auditioned, and I got cast as Vega in Street Fighter 2. I didn't think anything would ever come of it. Because at that time, anime was this little teeny tiny fringe thing, you know what I mean? It was like just this little subculture of people that liked it, and it wasn't mainstream. You couldn't really find it anywhere. I didn't even know what they did with this stuff once we recorded it. Do they sell it? You know what I mean? Do they launch it into space? What do they do with it? I didn't care. It was just fun to do. So I finished that show, and I thought, well, that was kind of a fun experience. And then the next thing you know, a few weeks went by, and they called me and they said, hey, we've got this other show. You want to come and be in it? And I'm like, okay, sure. So I went and did that show. And then another one. And then another one. And then another one. And the next thing you know, somebody invites me to an anime convention. And I was like, they have conventions for this stuff? I mean, I know Star Trek conventions, right? From when I was little, but I didn't even know there were anime conventions. So I went to an anime convention, and I was blown away. People had like posters of characters that I played, and little action figures, and wall scrolls, and oh my gosh, pencil boards. I was really overwhelmed. And then finally at a convention, I met some people from Funimation in Dallas, 4 hours north of Houston. And they said, hey, you want to come up and do some work with us? I'm like, sure, okay. So I went up there, and I was in Yu Yu Hakusho, and Dragon Ball Z, and then Spriggan, and Kitty Grade, and Case Closed, and then they got Full Metal Alchemist. And I was there. So I'm working in Houston, working in Dallas. And then, of course, anime is growing. Suddenly there are anime shows on television, all over the place, and it just explodes. And I was blessed, and I use that word deliberately, blessed enough to be in the middle of it when it exploded. I continued to do conventions, continued to work in Houston and Dallas, until one day I met some people from Los Angeles. And they said, hey, you should come out and do some stuff with us. I'm like, oh, sure, okay. And I came out to LA, and I did, you know, Persona 3, and Disgaea, and Soul Calibur, and guest roles here and there. And they didn't want to give me any regular recurring roles because I didn't live in LA. So I auditioned for things, but they wouldn't cast me in something recorded every week because I didn't live here. And so finally, after doing 10 or 15 things, they sent me an audition for Bleach. And then they cast me as Ikaku, who of course is a recurring role, because I promised them that I would come back anytime they needed me. So now I'm living in Houston, working in Dallas, working in LA, and then I meet people from New York. And that's where they do Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And a handful of other things like that. So I went and did some work with them. So now I'm doing this whole thing. And then I started dating a girl that lives in Los Angeles. Long distance thing. And then after a while, I'm like, you know what? I really should probably be out there closer. And the more work kept building up in LA, and she and I were getting closer. So I still own my home in Houston, but I live in LA now. And I am not going to shy away from saying what I'm about to say. I hope it doesn't offend anybody. I'm not trying to wax all religious, but this is who I am, and I'm going to share it. I never intended for any of this to happen. So I am very, very careful to give all the credit to God, because I didn't do this. Okay? I'm not being preachy. I'm not trying to get you to join church. Don't get all offended. I'm just sharing my heart with you. I always want to make sure and give credit where credit is due. Because you know what? There are a lot of people out there that beat the pavement and send out demos and knock on doors and do everything they can possibly do to get into this business. And the door opened. And I walked through it. That's all that happened. So I give complete credit where credit is due. And I don't want to offend ever, but that is what I believe, that is my feeling in my heart about my life and how I got into this business. So I want to make sure and let everybody know that. Okay? So there's my brother from the vehicle.
luggage?
Always. This guy picked me up last night. These guys picked me up last night with Kareem from the airport, and I was like a zombie, wasn't I? I was like, "Hi, where's the car?" I mean, I had my luggage because I've been gone for 2 weeks, so I had a lot of luggage. I've been traveling for 2 weeks, and the car was this rockin', awesome muscle car, but it was not a minivan, so there wasn't a lot of space. So one giant luggage went into the back seat, into the trunk, and the other giant piece of luggage had to go into the back seat. And this poor little guy was getting crushed the whole way back to the hotel. Every time the brother sitting beside him would turn the car, my leg would go, and he would be like, "Ugh, I'm getting crushed by Edward Elric's suitcase." Anyway, so yes, what's your question, Mark? Oh, that was your question. Am I going to keep crushing you with my suitcase? Anytime you're in the car, I will make sure you get crushed. All right? Yeah.
I missed you at Comic-Con, so can I have a hug now?
Always. Can I grab this water? What Comic-Con? Which one? Where? Which Comic-Con?
San Diego.
Oh, come here.
Yeah.
I love your hair, man. I love it. I don't know how long this piano was supposed to go because I could talk forever, and there's still 20 hands up, and I would love to. And I even brought stuff to show you. I don't even know what to do.
You have half an hour.
I have half an hour still? Lubrication. That's what it's all about, you guys. Stay hydrated.
Sorry.
Stay hydrated.
Sorry. Don't worry. I'll keep myself hydrated.
You especially, Kakarot, man. Alright? Yes, sir.
I was wondering if I could take pictures.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what we're going to do. After this is over, I'm going to be signing. Dude, you come by, we'll take pictures. I'll hug your face. Sign where you want. Oh, I'll do it. I'm not afraid. What?
How did you get so buff?
Am I buff?
Yeah.
I've been on the Todd Habercorn workout. Wait a minute. I gotta tell Todd that. That's funny. Hold on, I'm gonna dictate it. Hold on. Some guy in my panel just asked me how I got so buff. Ellipsis.
Tell me a secret.
Hold on. I told him I'm on the Habercorn workout program. And off it goes.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I am. I see, man, you've been watching the Olympics? Every once in a while, I mean, like last night I was flying here and I was in the little United Club, you know, watching some Olympics, waiting for my connecting flight. I flew from Chicago to Denver and then Denver to San Jose. So I'm in Denver and I'm watching some of the Olympics and these guys, you know, coming across the finish. And I'm like, damn! Look at that, look at those, look at that. Man, they're so muscular, so ripped and trim and fit. Like, geez, I'm never taking my shirt off again. How embarrassing. But anyway, those guys are amazing. Yes, you look awesome, by the way. I noticed the amazing tattoos. You look great.
Where did you get your Edward Elric phone case?
Okay, I'm glad you asked. Because this is pretty awesome. Alright? This is my phone case, right? See that? You know why this is special? It's the only one in the world. You know why? Because the creator of Full Metal Alchemist, the mangaka, Hiromu Arakawa, drew this for me. For me, one of a kind. The original is on a pencil board, like, you know, about this big, like an autograph board. Full color, looks just like that. And it says, to Vic, Ed, and like she personalized it and sent it over from Tokyo to me. And I scanned it and made a phone case out of it. Now the other cool thing is if you really like it, I'm getting ready to put this phone on eBay. I'm just saying, somebody might want it, right? I'm getting ready to put my old iPhone, that right here, in my pocket, all day long. And I'm going to put this phone case with it on.
You look like Hank right now.
So, it's very special. In fact, she even has her little signature in the corner, so. I love it. What?
Sign it and then put it on eBay.
Oh yeah, I will. Oh yeah. Yeah, like what I'll do is I'll probably pop the case off and like sign the case inside or something. Yeah. And I'll personalize it too. So like rather than just go Vic, it'll be like to Holly. I love you, Holly. I love you, Bella. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, at Track Anime, I also told you about Supernatural, and I was wondering if you've gotten around to watching it yet.
I haven't. I'm sorry.
You should. It's beautiful. It's like Fullmetal Alchemist-ish.
That's what I've heard. Oh my gosh, wait a minute. Oh my gosh. Did you guys? That's the show. Supernatural. Don't they make anime references sometimes?
Yeah.
How many of you saw the episode? Somebody sent me a clip to an episode where there was some guy who's a guest star. He's that real funny looking guy that's real thin and kind of nerdy looking. He has that real big, you know what I'm talking about? Real big nose, real thin guy. He said, they sent this to me. They're like, I think they just referenced you on Supernatural. And I was like, you're crazy. And then they sent it to me. And this guy was impersonating like a naval officer. He was in uniform. And he said, and I quote, I ship out on the AF Mignogna. And I'm like, okay, nobody names a ship Mignogna. That's really weird. And I didn't believe it until people started telling me that they make little anime references a lot. So I know a couple of actors that work on that show, and I've been meaning to ask them, you know, find out if this was like an accident, or whether it was the Spanish word for tomorrow, or whether it was an anime reference, you know, because of my work in anime. I thought that was really crazy, pretty weird.
Who do you know from the cast?
Pardon?
Who do you know from the cast?
I don't even remember their names. I've done several conventions with different people, and that's how little I don't ever watch the show. So like, is that the one with Dean and? Yeah. I mean, I've like been at conventions, and I'll be sitting there in the green room having a cup of coffee and talking with them, and then they'll leave, and somebody will be like, you know who that was? And you're like, no. That was so-and-so from Supernatural. Like, oh. So anyway, you know, I mean, I wouldn't know. So, yes, we know. Aww, your birthday's in a month? My birthday is this month. It's a bad birthday.
What day?
Oh, 27th. But it's a bad number. Shut up. I love you. I'm gonna give you some sugar, girl. Oh my God. No, it's, I try really, you know what, can I confide in you guys a little bit? I try not to let my age get out. Number one, because I feel a lot younger than I am, and I try to stay involved in things that keep you youthful. I play sports, I hang out with fun people, and I do exciting, creative things all the time, music and acting and travel, and so I don't feel like I'm the age that I am, and so especially relating with younger people, I want you guys to see me as somebody that can relate to you, not as somebody who's like, wouldn't get you, doesn't understand you, old guy, right? So I always resist talking about my age, and I even have like some of the officers in my fan club will actually keep their eye on Wikipedia, and when somebody posts it, I'm like, get it down, and they take it down, just because, you know, again, because I don't feel like I'm the age that I am, so I don't want people to know. I want to be as young and vibrant as possible, and I don't want it to be hindered by a number. So that's why I kind of resist when people, how old are you? I'm like, well, how old would you like me to be? Or how old do you think I am or something? But I don't really talk about it much. But this month, oh my God. Would you promise not to tweet this? Can we keep this in the room? I'm going to be 50.
No!
I can't believe I just said that word out loud. And, yeah, I just lost like 3,000 fans right there.
Holy crap, my grandpa's playing Edward.
Please don't tell anybody, please. I just was feeling vulnerable at the time, and I just wanted to share. I felt like we had a connection. What? Does it? Would to God that were true. I don't know if it is, but you're a very sweet, sweet person for saying that. I just, you know what, I really, you know what I cherish more than anything about what I do? I cherish the chance to talk with you guys and hopefully be some kind of positive encouragement to you. What I have found in, you guys, I get thousands of emails. I get about 100 a day. And I've been doing it 13 years, so you do the math. Between 75 and 100 a day, and I'm up until 1 or 2 almost every morning answering all of them. Because you're the ones that make this thing that I do so special to me. So I try to make sure and respond, and a lot of you who've written me, you know that I have replied to you. I do it as much as I possibly can. But that has become like my greatest joy. To get emails from people to say, I was going through a very difficult moment in my life, or my parents were divorcing, or my uncle died of cancer, or my grandmother is in the hospital, or my twin brother just got hit by a car. And I'm not making any of these up. These are things that people have written me. And they're like, I was about to give up. And then I found fill in the blanks. Either Full Metal, or I watched some videos on YouTube. And I was so encouraged, and it got me through this difficult thing. There's no amount of money you could pay me that could make up for the joy that that gives me. So I want to be able to be that as long as I can. And I can't help but feel that when you become a certain age, people kind of write off the weight of what you say. People kind of discount what you think or what you believe because you couldn't possibly understand that. You're this old guy. You parents know exactly what I'm talking about. You don't get it. Well, we do, but if I had a nickel for every fan, for every parent that wrote me, I get emails from parents, yo. And they're like, you tell my kids the same thing I've been telling them for years, and they listen to you. They've never listened to me. I want to be able to be that as long as I can, because you know what? Long after I'm gone, and long after the shows that I've done have kind of just drifted into the history somewhere, there will be all of these people on the earth who maybe at just the right moment in their lives, I had some positive influence on it. And was able to make a difference in their lives. And that'll last forever. I'm going to use Holly again here. What if Holly was so deeply depressed when she was 14 or 15 years old